You're listening to The Reel Down, sponsored by Ketch Photo Release Tournaments. This is your premier tournament source. Here are your hosts, Sam Jones and Dan Perry.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Reel Down on Paddle and Fin Podcast. Tonight, we got an epic guest for you. We got none other than Nauti Fish Martinez in the house. And doing sound effects on the mic is none other than Brian Schiller, host of the OG show, filling in for my guy Dan Perry.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. I was watching. I was listening to the final cast today with Josh and Mike McKinstry, and Josh introduced McKinstry, and because he does his own podcast, Basquatch Hunter. I think he was running his software or something, and he threw like an applause in there as Josh introduced him. So we need to get that effect. So in the meantime, I'm going to fill that in.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So give me an here in just a second. Okay. You ready? All right. So unfortunately tonight, I don't have my co-host, Dan Perry. But it's because he is prepping for a big tournament down on Lake Seminole, the first Hobie Bass Open Series, which we'll get into here in a little bit when we start talking about these tournaments that are going on. But best of luck to you, Dan, if you're listening in the morning during practice. Can't wait to see what you put up. And then we also got Dustin Nichols.
Yeah.
Down there.
I saw he put up a picture on social today. It looked like a pretty healthy fish, but he said it's been a grind and the weather's been like yo-yoing. So it'll be interesting to see what this weekend brings down there for sure.
Absolutely.
I'll be curious.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that here towards the latter half of the show as we start breaking down some of this. I've been talking to some of the people down there. Of course, Alan Reed, my travel partner, and so I got some insights we'll share. But anyway, enough about all that. Let's get to the man of the hour, Nauti Fish. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
Hey,
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome. Thanks for coming on tonight. Looking forward to talking about some stuff with you. But first, we can't get into anything without hearing how you get a name like Nauti Fish. Like, there's so many ways I could go with that. I want to know. So let's start right there. Let's just get right into it.
I just want to throw in there, like, I've never known your real name, and I've seen you floating around social media and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's that Nauti Fish dude, you know. Yeah. I've always dug the name, so I'm curious to hear how this came about.
Well, I would love to have some crazy story of running through ice and jumping in the water naked or something, but that's not the case. So I got into kayak fishing about 2015.
Okay.
In Japan. I was up there about 12 years. And as I was up there, realized like kayak fishing, got into a group up there with Yakinawa with my buddy Joe. So with that being said, came back to the States March of 2018. And I was like, I'm going to get into Virginia. I'm getting into fishing. I'm originally from Texas. So, this is all new to me over here. And as I got here, I was like, I don't want to bombard all my family members and everybody with my kayaking pictures and kayaking posts. And so I created a Facebook page specifically for kayak fishing. And I was like, man, I got to come up with a kayak name for my kayak and myself and something that kind of veers me away from doing their thing. So, I played around with about 100 different names. I was like, what am I going to come up with? And had some friends look it over, and I guess everybody voted, and they're like, oh, we like Nauti Fish. It's cool.
Yeah.
And so it stuck with that and kind of grew from there, I guess.
So hold on. So you did a test group on your nickname.
I mean, that's the way to make sure it sticks, right? I mean,
hold on. All right. So now that leads to something else. Now I got to know more about your background, because that's not the typical way to go about getting the nickname, right? That's kind of analytical there. So I got to know, what do you do for a living?
In the military, Air Force.
Yeah, but what do you do in the military?
I work around life-saving equipment for special operators, battlefield airmen, parachute rigger. So that's one. So pack and shoots, life rafts, O2 equipment, night vision, just all that in a nutshell.
Dude, I wish I had some night vision. If you ever got like a spare set of night vision that like falls off the back of the truck, I'll send you some money for it. I always thought it'd be cool to run around at night.
I don't know if I could do that.
Don't listen to this U.S. government. Sorry.
Brian's over here thinking about night vision, and all I'm thinking about is, okay, that's totally a cover. He's an ultimate badass. He's probably out there like doing some really cool shit.
Yeah. Little Nauti Fish is his SEAL name, you know.
And the silence after I said that and the nod lets me know I was on to something. So anyway, so we don't get him in trouble with the U.S. government. We're going to move on to
I like it.
to who you are as an angler, man. So by day, you're out there being a badass, and thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
By night or by weekend, I don't know. You're an angler, though.
Yes. I fish 24/7. I have the kayak on my Jeep. I drive to work. If it's 8 o'clock at night and I can get an hour in, I'll go down to near inlet. I'll go to the river, drop it in. If it's depending on the month, if we're doing a online, I don't know, redfish tournament, I might be out in the water till midnight, and I'll be back at work at 5 a.m. the next day. So if it's a bass tournament, and I got to go out to an hour up north, I'll drive up, knock in, do the tournament, come back. So I'm all over the place. I really don't get good sleep. So like last night when y'all messaged, I was studying for I was doing some training today, and I was instructing, and I had to do like some pre-prep. And then y'all messaged, I was like, oh man, might have to read a little bit on this too. So,
Nice.
Yeah, but
I'm similar myself. Very few hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I saw y'all's post like back to back. I said, y'all are in it right now.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
So I do both freshwater, saltwater, any
Nice.
fishing I can do. My main goal was to, one, enjoy the fishing. I love it, but getting other people involved. So if I have to drive an hour south to meet up with some veteran or some youth person or I'll do whatever it takes to get out there, get people on fish, just enjoy the time. Meeting new people is like the biggest thing I love to do. It's kind of what got me where I'm at right now, actually.
That's awesome.
Just keep meeting new people and just keep opening different doors. And next thing you know, I'm on this group, and I'm on that group, and I'm on this group. And then, it's just love helping people out and just meeting and enjoying the Virginia. Virginia's just been amazing for fishing. So
Nice.
yeah, it's gonna be hard to leave if it happened, but I think I'm a lifer. I don't know.
That's a cool story, man.
What are you like
Appreciate
in the Newport Beach area or something like that?
Yeah, I'm nearby. So I don't know if y'all familiar with the York Rivers, kind of go by the Mobejack. But,
Okay.
So when Mobejack goes right into the York River, I'm near Gloucester and Yorktown. So
Oh, nice.
yeah. So like basically where the colonial battlegrounds was, I'm right
Nice.
there. Yeah, I got
That's
the ghost
crazy.
behind my house, and so yeah.
Nice. So you fish both saltwater and freshwater. What kind of kayak are you in?
I'm in a Hobie Revo by choice. In Japan, I've had 11 kayaks total. I started off with expedition kayaks like Solstice GT. I like the 15 footers, so I was always a fan of the touring, fast, the stuff that makes you flip when you shouldn't be drinking and kayaking type thing.
Like an Eddie line and stuff like that.
Yeah. I love that. Those are some of my favorites still. We come back to the States, a lot of kayaks are wider. A lot of them are designed for stability. You can stand in them, things like that. But I was always I don't know, always had this thing for being able to carry a kayak over my shoulder, walking down to any waterfront, still get if I want to go down to Chesapeake Bay Bridge and go out 6 miles, or if I want to do a bass tournament, I have my kayak and can do pretty much anything. So mine's a Revo 13. It's about a 13, a little over 13 feet. So it's obviously not the best for stumpy lakes and things like that, but I've used it for everything. So it's my go-to. It's light. I have a lot of injuries from parachuting, so it's been like that good medium where I can carry it on my shoulder real quick. I can go from my Jeep straight into the water. So it's just for me, it's been the one I've wanted for a while. I really haven't found one that's as light, that's kind of as fast, and that just does kind of everything I like, you know. So it's been my go-to.
Man, it is refreshing to hear somebody in something other than the typical kayak.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone you talk, it's like, I'm in a Jackson Big Rig. I'm in a Bonafide. I'm in a Hobie PA.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I get the looks all the time too.
That's nice, dude. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I respect that for sure. So
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I mean, that kayak's so off the wall. I'm not even sure what that thing looks like, to be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen a Hobie Revo before.
Yeah, it's just the good thing about it's like the width of it's between about a 23, 24 inch wide.
Okay.
So think of it like a touring kayak, but sit on top tight, you know.
Okay.
Kind of gives you that perspective. A lot of people in Hawaii still like them because you know you're really offshore, going further distances, and a lot of good for trolling. You know, it just has that kind of offshore look, you know.
It still has the same Mirage drive that you'd see in like the PAs and stuff like that, right? The same kind of design, but just a little thinner and longer.
That's right.
Okay.
It's very similar to exactly what the Hobies have now with the Mirage drive. Mine, I've upgraded the turbo fins. So it's like the ST fins. I've had the rudder. It's kind of like for the sea, it's a little bit wider, a little bit bigger. So it's better for steering out there in the ocean, things like that. But it's it's longer, but yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Outback on steroids almost. You know, as far as length and stuff goes. That's a cool boat, man. I dig that.
Yeah. So are you a Team Hobie member? Like, are you on the Hobie team by chance, or you just prefer that boat?
Yeah, I haven't joined any teams. Had a couple offerings from some people, but I kind of really wanted to not be tied to any group, only because it might persuade of who I am. I want to kind of I want to be able to support anybody and not have an issue with that.
Sure.
So here, if I'm supporting a local kayak shop, or if I want to go to a booth and help them sell their kayaks, just because I want to be there to support and talk to other people, I don't want to be tied down. So I've kind of made it my way of understanding it, I guess. So,
Props, but no, dude, I respect that 100%.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
it. Yeah.
Wow, you are just a breath of fresh air tonight, my friend. Outside the norm on everything. I love it. I love
it too, man. It's good.
Man.
Appreciate it.
All right, so we know a little bit about you, a little bit about your background. I mean, I could probably make a whole show around your background because you seem like a pretty cool guy. But let's talk about, you have a purpose tonight.
Yeah.
There's something that you want to talk about, and we're going to get into that in a second. But first, let's talk about this organization that you're a part of. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You're the marketing manager for.
Yeah, I got voted in to be the marketing director for the board of directors. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess they saw some pictures and they were like, "This guy likes to be on social media and don't sleep." So. But
nice.
Yeah.
Let's make them sleep less.
Give them more to do. That's how it works. When you do a lot, people want you to do more.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
It is interesting when people take on roles like this and you don't get paid for it. You know, there's zero money in it. The reward is when you see and getting people out in the water, when you see the impact you're making on the community. That's where what I love about this group, you know. So talking about them before we get into why I want the event they got coming up. This group, Tidewater Kayak Angler Association, is I think they're about a little over 12 years, 13 years in already here in Virginia.
Nice.
They've seen a lot of famous faces. I think I won't quote me 100%, but I know like Chad Hoover was through here, Rob Troy, Kayak Kev. A lot of these guys either had some kind of tie with them. and a lot of organizations have ties with them, like Heroes in the Water.
Nice.
A lot of these organizations have been impacted by TKA, and so I know like Wayne Bradby, he was the president. I don't know if he was the whole time the president, but he was there for almost like 12 years, and he just got switched out with Amy, and they all just have experience here in Virginia. They have a humble like background. All of them just are awesome people. When they do any of their events, they don't get any, like a lot of people think that they're getting money for their shirts and their merchandise, and they get zero. Everything goes right back to the angler or to a charity. This big event, you would think that with 150 kayak anglers that, oh man, it's a lot of money, that they're gonna get something out of it. They get zero out of it. If anything, they put in things out of their own pocket just to make it happen, and then that money goes right to the winners or to the charities that they pick. So it's I think those are some of the reasons why I love this group, and I made a point to voice them as much as I can on any platform I can, and any other groups that I've supported, like Heroes in the Water. I wasn't really going to talk about them directly. However, just so y'all know, and everyone knows, that that's just a great organization. I've had many times to work with them, and when I was out there, I was impressed with how organized they were, how professional they were, seeing how the actual disabled veterans got, like, no kidding, thrilled and happy about these events. Man. So because TKA does all that, they, just like a lot of good groups, they do the beach cleanups, and they go out and they try to do so many events, and every month they're doing something. So that's kind of what drew me into supporting these guys here.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So TKAA, they've been around, you said, for like 12, 13 years. How long have you been a part of the organization?
I got here in 2018. I remember watching this group and a lot of people in Virginia. When I found out I was coming here, and got on YouTube, and I'm looking at Virginia, trying to do my little research. That's when I learned about them. But I didn't get linked up with them till maybe January of 19. So really new.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that they even put me in the position I'm in right now, I guess this means that maybe they like me and trust me. They like what I'm doing. But it's been surreal. I mean, I can't really understand how it's all been happening this fast. But being here in Virginia, it's been a year. I guess almost a year now. So yeah.
That's cool, man. That's very cool.
So TKAA, is that like a trail series, or is it more of that club format where you guys do all kinds of different events, fun events, month-longs, different type, or is it like a hardcore tournament series? Tell us a little bit about that.
They're a 503 chapter, so they're a nonprofit organization, and they do support a lot of events out here from the VKT. I think I have a little picture up there, so y'all can see that. So that's a trail series out here in Virginia that we support. There's about 3 different ones out here that either northern area, the eastern area, and then of course for us, the VKT is like in Suffolk, about an hour from here, kind of near Virginia Beach. That's the bass tournament. TKA kind of supports everybody. If anything, if you think about that, they'll go to the kayak shops out here and do their markets, and they'll speak on safety, water safety, boat safety. We have people on the board that are Marine police, that are just different backgrounds that they can offer their support. So when they go to these events, they're out there either promoting kayaking in one way or another. So they're just a nonprofit org that is out there doing anything they can, from charity events. They got a big charity coming up in September that is just a huge charity. It goes back to, again, probably like Heroes in the Water or something like that. So, but yeah, so they're not a specific trail, but they do support a bunch of trails out here, a bunch of kayak shops out here, things like that, giving back. So
nice.
How many states do they cover? Or
I believe they're just Virginia. I think they're like a tidewater area, but the tournaments that they're doing, they're using iAngler. Most of everything's in iAngler. If it says online, they'll use iAngler, and even the upcoming events will be using iAngler. So that is a Virginia-wide thing. So like they'll be able to, if anybody in Virginia, if you see an online TKA event, anybody in Virginia can fish Virginia waters. So with iAngler, with the TKA group. And again, the proceeds will go to you, and the little piece will go to the charity. So that's about it.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So one of these big events that you guys do out there at TKAA is the Cinco No Dinko charity event. So this is a bass fishing tournament called Cinco No Dinko, which is great marketing. Love it.
Hey, May 5th. May 5th is coming, so makes sense.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this event.
So the name itself, there was, I think Ron, he was one of our head guys. He kind of came up with that between him and Amy and some of the other people. They liked that name. It was cool. May 5th. So the event's actually May 2nd. So it's that weekend right before May 5th. That's where they got that idea. So every year, this tournament seems to get bigger and bigger. Last year, we hit about 100 anglers. And before that, it was right under 90. So when I went last year. I think I placed like 15th. I was excited. I didn't care if I didn't make 5th. I was just excited to be, at least in the top 20 or something.
Yeah.
But so 100 anglers last year. This year we're expected 150. And I remember when I first heard about this tournament. Now the name changed, but it's an annual event they got. I think this is the 4th one they're doing now. It's at Chickahominy Lake up in Lenexa, Virginia, and it's any part of that water. So it's you can launch at any area out there. It doesn't have to be one location, just as long as it's in that Chickahominy River or lake area. So with that being said, I remember thinking about it. It's like 100 anglers, man, in one area. That seems like a lot, and maybe I don't know, maybe we crowded or something. But it wasn't. It was well organized. It was well planned. The event was well done. When you're out there, you get to mingle with so many people from North Carolina that came up, South Carolina, just different people all over. I just met so many people. So this May 2nd, there's going to be 150 anglers from all over. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger. They can rent cabins up there. They can do tents out there. Some people slept in the vehicles. Some just showed up the day prior. But if you just go to either iAngler and search TKA, you'll find all the details about it. Or if you go to the Facebook at TKA, you'll find all the resources for that. But it's just a huge event. I mean, a lot of good prizes. The sponsors are growing. So that last year, they win different things from paddles and just different payouts, and it's just a good event. I think they did like if you catch pickerel and I guess I don't know if we did panfish, but smallest fish, things like that. So they always add little side things to that too. So for those that are not just catching a good bass, and you could probably throw your crappie in there or something.
Nice.
Okay, so May 2nd, it's a single day event. Is that right? Just May 2nd, one day event.
It's
okay.
Single day event. I think the check-in is going to be like 5 a.m. I think the being in the water is probably somewhere around 7. So, but yeah.
Okay.
And I think 3 o'clock might be the cutoff, and then 4 o'clock to submit your pictures, your final pictures. And then they're going to have like the ceremony and stuff right after that.
So five fish limit?
I'm not really sure. I thought it was 3, but it could be a 5. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I got to double check that.
Okay. So 3 or 5 fish limit, and big bass, I'm assuming, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So what's the entry fee again?
So if you do it from now till March 31st, I believe it was about 50. And if you do it after that, up to the event, I think it was like 75 or something like that.
Okay. Very cool.
That early fee.
And then is it, first place pays all, or how's that break down?
I think so. They listed it on the iAngler, breaks it all down. I think, and it goes from if there was 100 anglers submission to 150, the percentages change a little bit. I believe they're looking at 80%. It's all going back to the top 3 finishers, and then the 20% is going to the charity. I believe that's exactly what it's going for right there.
Nice. And have you guys announced what that charity is yet, or?
We went back and forth. I want to say that on the website they're going to list it final. Heroes in the Water was one, and there was another one that was a youth area, like a youth group here. I forgot the name of that youth group, but it was the first time hearing it, so I'm not really familiar with that one yet. But it is a youth group, so a youth fishing group, and if you go on the website, you probably see that one. I can't remember what that one was. But yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So let me see here. A couple other questions. is there a cap on this, or is it completely open event? You take 200 anglers, 300 anglers, 400 anglers?
Oh yeah, no, they're trying to shoot for 150, but if they can get more, they're gonna get more. So yeah, it's
Nice.
it's open event. The water can support it, the area can support it. So yeah, it's definitely worthwhile to get as many people out as possible. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. What else is in that area for guys to do while they're down there?
Well, speaking of that, they actually have like a little, I think it's called Seaside or something like that. It's a little restaurant. They have live music there. They have a nice little venue in there. The staff in there is amazing. So on the grounds, they have that. They have a cornhole competition set up there on the campground, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Kids there's like a little pond there, so the kids can play in the pond while their grown-ups are out there fishing. They can go out there and fish for some bass in that little pond, which is probably bigger than the ones in the lake.
Should have stayed at the pond all day.
I know. The area there, you're close to, say you did drive up and you're not from this area, you do got things from Six Flags and, things like that. They're out here. Or not Six Flags, what is it? Busch Gardens. That Busch Gardens out here. Water
Very
country,
cool.
yeah. That's my Texas side coming in. Six Flags. Yeah, Busch Gardens out here. Yeah, so it's nearby. And they got a bunch of stuff. What was that? King's Dominion is pretty nearby too. So
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, is there anything else you want to share with us? Maybe we didn't touch on about this event or TKAA. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just would like to at least say thank you to all those that have been supporting me and that been part of this kayaking for me. The guys in Japan, the Yakinawa group, I'd like to say, appreciate all their support. The guys here from the VKT, people like Chris Peaton, those guys have taken a personal time out of their day to go get me out in their fish, teach me some bass. After I learned them, I got my first citation here in Virginia. So it's been good to have those guys support me. The TKAA guys, I want to say thanks to people like Ron and Amy, who I've looked up to, and they really didn't know this, but I was watching them before I even got here. So for them to even take me under their wing a little bit, it's been surreal. And then, just people in my actual job right now. So I started Nauti Fish Outfitters, and so the people that have been helping me with that has been pretty cool. My buddy Andrew, he's one of my teammates and my partners in this thing here. He has done a lot with me regarding this. We fish day and night. We've got a lot of experience together. We actually met at the last TKA's Chickahominy Bass event. So that last one we did, he came in, I think, 4th overall. And we actually met by accident because I was trying to do a video and I was like, who made 4th? And some other guy told me he made 4th, and I had to do some research. And that's how we linked up. And since then, we became best friends and good kayaking buddies out here. And if it's 40 degrees outside and it's raining and I want to go fish and there's nobody who wants to go, I call him up and he'll probably go with me. So
nice.
he's been that battle buddy. So
heck yeah, man.
Besides that, there's a lot of people I can't just name, but I do just want to say thank you to everybody that has a huge effect on me out here. And hopefully I get to see some of y'all out there.
Heck yeah, man.
Events. And I wanted to go fish that Seminole event this week, and actually took tomorrow off to go drive down there, but we got some family stuff coming up, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it now. But I'll make one of the BOSs this year, hopefully.
There you go, man.
So we'll see.
We'll crush
Very
it
cool.
if you do.
Absolutely. I'll be rooting for you. I'm a fan already, man. I mean,
unless I'm in the tournament, you could take second.
Hey, I'm cool with second, man.
I mean, I'd be cool with third. I'm just saying, I'm not that guy either, but I hear you.
Right.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Before you go, first off, I got to commend you. I just gave you an open floor to talk about whatever you wanted to talk about. And rather than rambling off a bunch of personal stuff or talking about, brands or whatever, you literally just spent like 3 minutes thanking all these great people in your life, dude. And there was one little blurb where you're like, yeah, I've got my own business, but I got people helping me with it. That's awesome, dude. That's really refreshing to see that, hear that, man. Because I mean, a lot of us, that's our story, right? We got where we are because of the great people in our lives, and we don't do enough of thanking people and spreading some positivity like that. But I want to give you an opportunity. Let's talk about this. Nauti Fish Outfitters. Tell me about that, man.
So as you know, I like hiking. I like kayak fishing. It's been a passion of mine. So when I was parachuting, I lost 3 inches off my height overall. So I'm pretty messed up with that part. Out of all the events I've done, kayak fishing has been the thing that, I don't know, that even if I'm in pain, I go out in the water, I'm relaxed. I'm good. It's that zen you needed. So because of that, I realized I could get this to other people, So Nauti Fish Outfitters, if you ever read the beginning of the webpage, it talks about the name as a persona. And my goal was to have something. It could be any kind of logo or design or whatever, but it was something that's going to start a conversation, some kind of dialogue that when you walk into a bar, you walk into a VFW, you walk into a mall, you go to a teen center, with your son or something, and you don't expect some kid to come up to you asking you about what is that, It gives you opportunity for you or anybody wearing the brand to talk about their love for kayak fishing or kayaking. And it's actually, since I started this, I've met so many people who've actually met me at random places and asked about the logo, and it got me talking about it, and it opened more doors. So it really is just, that's what I was originally intending for this Outfitters, was to first start off with something that opens dialogue, that opens something like that. As for selling, as for all that store business part, we eventually are going to be getting kayaks. We're going to get a storefront one day, because we do want to have something similar to that. But at the moment, our biggest thing is just getting our name out there. So yeah, we got the clothes, we got the merchandise. We got linked up with a couple of companies right now that we're going to be selling some of their gear. And I will give a shout out to Hoodoo. They actually have been a great support for us. And they actually have been doing really good with letting us see their kayaks and test that stuff out. So hopefully we got some tutorials coming out with that. But in a nutshell, we're still new, and I have no idea where it's going to go yet. I just know that I wanted something to start off with that opens dialogue. When we show up to an event, I want people at least have some way of reaching out to us. So the webpage is there, so it helps people find all my social media. If you're a TikTok person, you got that resource there. If you're into all these other socials, I'm on everything. So I try to post whatever videos kids might like. My son's a huge inspiration to some of those TikToks, and you name it. So I'm really just trying to, no kidding, get fishing out there just like a lot of other guys are. And for me, it's just because I had that personal love for it. So Nauti Fish Outfitters is really just, hopefully one day it'll be bigger, but right now it's just it's really just a persona to open dialogue to,
So what's that website? NautiFishOutfitters.com.
That's it.
All right. And how are you spelling naughty?
Nauti, like nautical. Yeah.
Okay.
So Nauti Fish.
Right. So you gotta tell people that, man. People might spell it differently and find something different, man. You got.
That's why.
All right.
That's why his name is always stuck out to me, man. That's why your name is always stuck out, because you spell it like nautical, but then you got that naughty fish. You know what I mean? So I dig it, man. That's why I love your name. I dig it.
Maybe I gotta come up with some crazy story too, how I got it.
Yeah. There was this one time way back in the day.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, man, I could talk to you all day about that as well. So maybe that'll be another conversation another time. But I can't thank you enough for coming on. Brian, you got any other questions for this man?
No, man. Just want to say thanks, and I love your story, dude. Thanks for sharing it with us, and keep fighting that good fight, dude. I love what you guys are doing out there, for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm super pumped that we had you on tonight, and love talking to you. And most importantly, man, I said it once, I'll say it again. Thank you so much for your service and what you're doing out there. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. Man.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I just want to clarify, going back to he packs parachutes, I did ask him if he ever had one fail, and he's at 0 still. So knock on wood, never. He's keeping our boys safe. So thank you for that. Absolutely.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to your evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, appreciate y'all. You have a good one. Love your show.
Yeah, you too, brother. Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks.
All right, yeah. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, wow. I'm crushing a little bit right now. I'm not going to lie.
Like I said, I've watched him for a while on social media, and I'm just like, this dude seems pretty legit, man. I like it.
I'm ashamed to say that I haven't seen him on social media, and I need to look out east more often because I feel like there's some cool dudes out east.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, not gonna lie, got chills a couple times when he was telling his story. Especially with the military stuff. You could tell that dude was or is a true badass.
Yeah.
So you could always tell the guys who like were in the stuff.
Oh yeah.
But gosh, he said he lost 3 inches off his height. Like, so you're talking blown out knees and ankles and just shattering bones. And like, can you even imagine? And the dude's talking about grabbing a kayak off the top of his Jeep and carrying it down to the water. I'm just like, gosh, I complain about little wrecks I've been in that, gave me little backaches here and there.
Right.
But awesome guy. Hey, Dustin, if you're listening, this guy fishes saltwater, man. You need to have him on your show.
I think so.
Yeah. We're going to make that happen. And if Dustin doesn't want to do it, we're going to make him do it. So,
yeah. I'll fly to Texas and put him in a chair, duct tape him. No, I'm sure Dustin will be down, man.
Oh, Dustin will be all over that for sure. All right, man. Well, that was good. But we've got some stuff to talk about.
Finally got some tournaments.
Oh my gosh! Finally. I mean, I wish I was there, but at least I can talk about it.
Yeah, 2020 starting off with a bang, man.
It did. It did start off with a bang. So, Tinvitational just wrapped up today as we're recording. This is airing tomorrow, Friday.
Yep.
So the 10 will be kicking off. But before we get into all the juicy stuff about the 10, let's talk a little bit about the Tinvitational. What happened down there. So, for those of you that are listening that may not know, in 2019, all the anglers that did well qualified for the Tinvitational to have a chance to make it to the 10. The 10 is like one of the biggest tournaments in the sport. Some may say it is the biggest or most prestigious event in the sport because only 10 guys qualify for it.
Right.
Only 10 qualify for the 10 house, but KBF, as always, loves to give guys that second chance or another opportunity to make it into these big events. So they do what's called the Tinvitational. So guys who do well enough in the previous year's season have a chance to come down and fish a 2-day event and earn their way into the 10 house, the 10 championship sponsored by DZ. But in order to get in, they've got to beat all the 10 guys who are also fishing the Tinvitational. So I love this event. I think it's really cool. I didn't know enough about it at the beginning of the season last year. As a rookie, I wasn't thinking about this. But I wish I would have paid a little more attention because, man, it's a really cool event.
Heck yeah.
So day one of competition, guys get down there. You're expecting like huge bags, right? And man, the leaderboard was slow most of the day. I mean, it was really slow.
Yeah, I mean, I think from what I saw after day one was it was slow starting out during the day, but once the sun got up and it started to warm up a little bit, that's when guys started catching.
Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of weird down there right now because they had a powerhouse cold front about, a week or so ago, right as the Opens.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. The Bassmaster Opens was down there. And powerhouse front comes through right as it's ending or just after. And then, so the water temperature from what my buddy Alan was telling me, 20-degree difference from 70 to 50s.
Yeah, that'll shut some fish off.
Apparently the water hadn't dropped all winter because we've had a warm winter, especially south of, the Ohio River or the Ohio River Valley area. It's been fairly warm all summer. And so 20-degree drop. But some guys still caught them.
Yes, sir.
So day one, leader was Alan Sweat with 86 inches, had a 19-inch bass. Then Brad Case,
The professor.
legendary Mr. Brad Case with 81.75. Led a couple times, I think, in their event. He had a 19-incher. So none other than Gene Jensen, the Fluke Master.
He hammered on him those 2 days, man. I saw him fluctuating up and down that leaderboard. I thought he might be able to pull that one out for sure, but he fell a little short.
Couldn't find the big bite.
Well, I know, like we talked about, man, the weather down south has just been yo-yoing, and it's got those fish confused. So those guys that could find those bigger bites are the ones that definitely came out on top. But, I mean, let's talk about today. Derek Brundle, what was it, 23 and a half?
Yes, angler of the year for, what is it, the Eastern?
Yep.
What division?
Northeast
Division. Angler of the year for the Northeast Division, and Rookie of the Year. Almost one thing.
Yeah.
Guy from Massachusetts goes down to Florida, rookie in the house, and about beat them all. But what he did do is he beat everybody that was already in the house.
Right.
So that's, I mean.
Well, I'll say this, man. Josh Smith, who I'm interviewing on the OG show Monday night, he's been calling Derek Brundle, man. He's from up there around New York, and he said Brundle's a stick, and he's highly underrated. And then seeing that leaderboard the past 2 days, I mean, I think he's proved that, you know?
Yeah, put up the biggest limit of a biggest single day limit. Sorry, I can't talk, guys. Biggest single day limit of the tournament with 86.50. And biggest bass of the tournament, 23.25, which interestingly enough, that's the only fish I heard about on a bed. So caught a big girl on the bed, he said. 86.50 day 2. And, you know, going into the final results, falls just short. Allen was a little more consistent, put up 86 on day 1, 80.75 on day 2, and Allen Sweet was the winner of the Invitational and is now the 11th man, earning that spot. Local
12th.
12. Oh, sorry. 12.
There was a tie for 10th. Yep.
You're right. That's right. So 12th man in to the 10. And he's a Florida guy. So I can imagine that was the last guy they wanted in there.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. You know, some really tight numbers during the Invitational. But, I mean, we got to talk about our man Dylan.
Oh, yes.
I saw him post up some pics earlier on that, you know, he found some good fish.
He was holding up the big ones.
And you know, I think what he did is, I hope what he did was he was just trying to find new water while he was fishing this tournament and left his good spots alone for the actual 10.
Yeah, I know a little bit about what was going on down there just because him and Allen were in similar water. They didn't, of course, they ran into each other at ramps. Surprise, surprise. That we always seem to do that. But I don't really know. I haven't talked to him, so I don't really know what's going on. But I'm wondering the same thing, and I'm excited to watch. Hey, I got to give a shout out real quick though, and then we kind of move on. We've got 2 more tournaments to talk about still.
Sure.
But I got to give a shout out to my Indiana boys.
Yeah, man, they kicked butt down there.
3 guys in the top 12. I mean, just Allen just missing the top 10. And we got
the
Glenn
champ.
Landstrom.
Yeah.
We got Glenn Landstrom in 7th, the champ Mike Elsey in 9th, and Alan Reed in 11th. No,
yeah.
Hey, Indiana showing out.
I like
give
it.
Some love.
I like it.
So, But yeah, let's just run through real quick. We'll do top 5 here. So Alan Sweat, again, taking home the title, earning his way into the 10, which we'll talk about here in a second. Derek Brundle coming in second. Love that guy's story. He's going to be a stick, like you said, for a long time. Jamie Broad, everyone knows that name, right?
Right.
Coming in third place. The Fluke Master coming in fourth. And Brian, oh man, I'm going to mess this name up. Another New York guy. No, Brian Bowser, I don't know. I'm terrible with names. But anyway, from New York, he had 154 inches. That rounds out the top 5. Corey Dreyer just missing the top 5 in 6th place. So also notable, since you're listening to this, is all really fresh. We just found out before recording that Mama KBF had kind of a emergency situation, had to go in for emergency surgery, and appears to be fine and coming out of that just fine. We don't know all the details. Chad Hoover actually, it's serious. Chad Hoover left all of his gear, jumped on a plane, and flew home today to be with her. So Fluke is taking over duties, and Scott, they're kind of sharing duties there in the 10 house. But we're thinking about you, and prayers going up for the family there, Chad and Christy. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the situation is, but
this is the first I heard of this, man. Holy crap!
Yeah. Scott was live just before we were recording, and broke the news to everyone. Everyone else that was down there got the news, during the event or shortly after the event. But yeah, some type of medical scare or something like that, had to go in for emergency surgery. I'm sure we'll get the story later on, but Chad had to run. And gosh, I can't imagine, being in Florida and my wife having something like that going on in Tennessee. I can't imagine what he's going through. So, thinking about him and Christy, she's the mama of us all here in the kayak world. And gosh, yeah. So
yeah, prayers to the Hoovers.
Prayers to the Hoovers. That's right. All right. So you guys are listening to this on Friday. So already going on right now as you're listening to this, the 10.
Yeah, buddy.
That big tournament, that prestigious tournament. So we got 12 guys in the 10 now, funny enough. Big tournament here. So Jamie Broad, Derek Brundle, Brad Case, Mike Elsey, Dylan Fuquay, by the way. Everyone says Fuqua, but it's Fuquay. A.K.A. Badass Kid. Cody Milton, Casey Reed, Matthew Scotch, who I don't think fished the Invitational. Russ Snyders.
Yeah, I don't think Snyders fished it either, did he?
Nope. And Josh Stewart, also, I don't think he fished. Ken Wood, and our Invitational champion, Mr. Sweat.
Who you picking?
Ooh. I'm always rooting for my Hoosier boys. So I like Mike Elsey, but I know he's had a tough time down there this week. Love the kid, like my little brother, Dylan. I'd love to see him do well, and I know he's got the ability, but dude, Sweat may have won the Invitational, but my money is on Brundle.
Really?
Yeah, my money's on Brundle. He has some swag tonight on the Invitational, like I haven't seen him have. Man, it's so hard, dude. Like there are some sticks.
Yeah.
Who knows what Josh is on? Like,
right.
You're always worried about Josh.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going Brundle. I like him.
Yeah, man, it's so hard. If I had to pick two dominating anglers, it this year alone, Stewart and Scotch. But yeah, I mean, Brundle, man, he's on to something. He's on to something. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's anybody's game for sure. I always like to go with momentum. I think momentum is a huge thing, and
Yeah.
Brundle didn't win, but you could tell he's
got some
hyped
confidence.
up.
Yeah,
He's got some confidence. Hyped up. So
that goes a long way, man. Going into a big tournament like that, if you got that confidence, man, you can accomplish anything.
Agreed. And we'll see. We'll hope to have some of the guys on next week's episode. So
heck yeah, man.
All right, let's talk about another big event. Kicking off the year for the Hobie Bass Open Series down at Lake Seminole.
Got two of our own down there. I just saw a photo on Facebook. Some big bass are being caught. I think it's going to be interesting. A lot of folks have been talking about this tournament for months. So, killer fishery. Some giants are definitely swimming in that lake, and it's all a matter of who's going to put up 10 of them.
Yeah, and you can tell people are excited about the Hobie Bass Open Series this season because it will be, it's the end of January. February 1st and 2nd is this event, right? Yeah, February 1st and 2nd. And there's 118 guys who have traveled from pretty much all over the country to go fish this event. So it's a stout field. And there are a few people that aren't even signed up because they were waiting to see how they competed in the Invitational. So, Glenn Landstrom and Alan Reed and those guys, they're on their way there now, and they're going to be signing up. So it's going to be over 120 anglers, which is outstanding for this time of year.
Heck yeah.
So kicking it off, some people, a lot of people have made some claims about, wanting to get that Angler of the Year title and getting to the TOC. So it's going to be a very competitive year this season on the Hobie Series, and I'm looking forward to watching it go down.
Yeah. Amen, man. Yeah, I mean, Hobie's definitely coming in, and, they're had great results last year with a lot of their tournaments and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Like you said, a lot of people have been hyped up about this, and I love seeing the crossover, man. The guys that went down, fished the Invitational, and now they're heading straight to Seminole to fish Hobie, man. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what unfolds this weekend for sure.
Yeah, 100% agree. So, all right, well, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Seminole because I've been so focused in on this Invitational stuff.
Sure.
I know it's going to be tough. I know it's not fishing like it typically would be.
Yeah, I know our man Dustin Nichols posted up a photo, and he said the weather's been yo-yoing, and it looked like he had a pretty nice fish. He didn't show it all, but it looked pretty stout. So, good luck to everybody fishing tomorrow and this week, or I should say today and this weekend. Be safe, tight lines, and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to covering this event and watching it all go down tomorrow. We'll try and share links to all of this stuff so you can see it on Tourney X. And we'll try and get some winners on, some champions on next week for you guys.
Back at it with the interviews. I love it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Did I do it okay? Was it good?
You did it decent. It was all right.
All right. I think we'll end with that. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Later. Bye.
Peace. Go check out the website, guys. Paddle, the letter N and fin.com. Also check out YouTube. youtube.com/paddle and fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest, feel free to email us at paddle, the letter N and fin @gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're doing giveaways, announcements, things like that at Facebook and Instagram at paddle and fin. Shout out to our show supporters, Rocktown Adventures, Loveland Canoe and Kayak, Hammered Lures, Fish Mob Lures, TRC Covers, Ketch Products. Go to catchproducts.com. You can put the paddle and fin logo right on your catch board. Don't forget to go over and pick up your JigMasters Jigs. Use promo code PNF20 and save 20% today. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps grow the audience, helps others find our podcast. So please drop a 5-star rating in on the podcast platform you're listening on. Don't forget about the recycled plastics program, you guys. Take your used plastic baits, put them in an envelope, mail them to the address in the show notes. Our man Eric Richards at Hammered Lures melts those down, makes new baits, and donates them to various chapters of Heroes on the Water.